Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to start this series because of course it is October and that means Halloween everything. I love makeup and I love Halloween. I love creating looks for you guys. So I'm going to start this series with 1920s vintage makeup inspired looks. So if you want to see how I did this particular look, keep on watching. Alright, so I already started a little bit off camera. I lined the whole inside of my eyes with black eyeliner, and then I always like to pack black eyeshadow on top of it just to set it. And then I did prep my eyes with MAC Prep and Prime 24-hour eye base. For this particular look, we are going to use blacks and grays, so you are going to want to prep your eyes and definitely do your foundation after because it will kind of make a little bit of a mess. So I'm going to start with a crease brush and we're going to use the Shade and Light Kat Von D palette. I'm going to start with this shade up here at the top. It's kind of a pale peachy orange and just go right under the brow bone. And everything you do to one side, we must do to the other. Kind of sweep it down. It's just a starting base color. Right. I am going to use Sugar Pill Bulletproof. This is my favorite black. You can use any black that you like. If you do have the Kat Von D palette, there is a black in there as well. I just prefer the Sugar Pill one. It's super rich in black and it is my favorite. I'm going to take a small synthetic brush, use whichever one that you prefer, and then I go right in with just a little bit of product there and start going along the lash line. Okay. It's gonna look a little bit crazy at first, but you're just gonna wanna keep going. I'm gonna get a little bit closer so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Dip back into that product and continue swiping. I like to press and pack. I don't know if you guys can tell that that's the motion that I'm doing with the small shader brush. As you can tell, even though this is a really rich, intense black, it does almost look gray. You're going to take that right up to the crease. And just keep adding color till you're happy with the result. Alright, so I think that's a pretty good amount of saturated color. We are going to go back in and blend the crease and smoke it out a little bit more. But I think that's a good start. Into the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm actually going to start with this gray color right here. Go back in with my MAC 221. We're going to just work that in with the black that you already have going. So see, it's building kind of a gradient. Keep going back in. All right. Liking that build up, we're gonna go in with that same color. We're gonna do the other eye as well, starting with the outer crease. Working our way back with the gray and the black shade. All right, focus back in on that inner tear duct space. And I like to take that first brush that we used. I don't add any additional product, but I do kind of like to blend it out. Okay. Just make sure both eyes are even. just blending as always. Keep it blended. I am going to use the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Frisky. It's kind of this blackened glittery gray. This is an optional step. You do not have to do this part, but I think it adds just a little something extra. I do just put a little bit on my ring finger and then start patting it on the eye. So this is pretty cleaned up. It's not 100%, but it definitely will work. I do want to go back in with my MAC 221 and just kind of blend whatever is on the outside edges. Then with that clean brush again, clean back up your edges. It is supposed to be messy, but you still want it to look like you meant to do it. Use the Marc Jacobs Remarkable. I do take the applicator out and I literally dot my face. That should be more than enough product, but you know, we'll see how it goes. I didn't use a primer underneath this today because their makeup always looked a little bit cakey because they used to use pan makeup a little bit thick, so I want it to kind of look a little bit more textured or dull like. And just blend in your foundation. Okay, once your foundation's on and blended, we're gonna move to concealer. Use the Urban Decay Naked Skin. And we're gonna go right under the eyes with the wand. Kind of doing your little V shape, of course. I'm gonna put just a tad on my chin to lighten up my chin. I am gonna leave my forehead blank because later we are gonna put a headpiece on. So I think I'll just leave it because you're not gonna see the highlighter there anyways. I like to take a little synthetic brush when I'm working out my concealer, especially once I have foundation on. That way I can get right up under the eye. And what I like about this concealer is it has a little bit more of a liquid consistency. So it looks a little bit more fresh under the eyes. Okay, so I kind of blend it out like that, and then I take my foundation brush just right on top of it and melt it together. That's an additional step. You don't have to do that step, but I just prefer it that way. Looks a little bit better to me. And we're gonna use the Besame powder to set our face. It's the Brightening French Vanilla Powder. So let me open it here. And then I like to put my product in the cap. So I just tap it out in the cap. And then I take my puff. Then I start going in with it. I like to go right under the eye, as close to the eye as we can, and really pack that on under there. Gives you a brighter, well-rested look, especially because we are using so much black. We do still want to look awake. All right. Once that part is done, I do go back in with my Kat Von D Shade and Light brush that's double-sided. And I'm going to just go into the Shade and Light contour palette, use my yellow shade as always, and then pack again under the eye. This is an additional step, but I just think it makes everything look beautiful. Usually hit my nose with this product as well, and the chin. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of tricky because in the 20s, they are definitely not contouring, right? They probably don't even have bronzer really, but I look a little scary without those products. So I am going to use today the Too Faced Endless Summer Bronzer just to kind of warm up the outside of my face because I look a little scary. And I'm not going to use very much, just enough so I don't look sick and dead. Even though I know they were really into that powder, like doll-like skin, this just helps bring out my natural shape of my face. Especially because the rest of my body is pretty tan right now. If I don't do this, I'll look a little crazy. I am not going to do under my jawline, which I normally would. But we're not going to do that today because that's just not how they would do their makeup. Okay, keeping it very soft. However, they did like blush quite a bit, big rosy cheeks. I am going to use the color called Natural Beauty. This is by Tarte. It's a very bright reddish pink looking blush. It's a flush, true flush color. So if we were to pinch your cheeks, they'd probably turn this color. I'm using very little on this brush just because this color is super potent. And they were really big into red dull cheeks. I am focusing most of it on the apple of my cheek where normally I would go farther back. But for this look, that's just how we're gonna do it to keep it more traditional for you guys. And you don't have to use this particular blush color. I'm sure you could find a red color at the drugstore. I just like my blush to really stay on and pop because I think that makes a huge difference on the look. I feel like I look so crazy without contour. I haven't done like my makeup without contour in, well, it seems like forever. Focusing on the apples, giving you that natural flush of red skin. Going back over to tone it down just a little bit because this is a pretty potent color. Pretty happy with that though. All right, then going into the highlighter shade that I'm going to use. It's just a natural highlighter, so it's going to make me look more alive. Clean up underneath the eyes. Make sure my face is nice and set with product and kind of blend out the cheek a little bit. This is Kevyn Aucoin Candlelight. Again, it's just more of a natural highlighter, so don't feel like you have to do this step. I just like it because it kind of melts down my blush a little bit, especially when I'm using so much to make myself look more pink and red, very naturally flushed. I just feel like it kind of tones it down to look like what I want it to look like, which is more subtle. But because this color is so bold, it just kind of, every time I use it, goes on super crazy. Then I take my blush brush and just blend it all out. It's all about blending with this, especially with the cheeks, because most of us aren't used to having super red glowing cheeks. Normally they would have used a cream blush. My skin looks horrible with cream blush, so we are not doing cream blush. We are just going to do the powder but I like how it melts back down onto the skin. Let's do the inner rimmed liner again, since I did wipe that off a little bit. We're gonna go back in here. And just rim that waterline again. I'm just ever so slightly bringing my eye down. Do not tug and pull. Be gentle with your eyes. They'll thank you later. Yeah, the eyeliner on the inside of the eye is crucial for this look. It makes a huge difference. So my eyeliner's on. I am gonna go back my angle brush. This is just a MAC brush. I'm not even sure what the number is. I've had it for so long. Go back into my Sugar Pill Black eyeshadow and just go right over the black. Just patting it right on. I think this is very important step because it's going to keep your liner on all night long, so you don't have to worry of if it stays on. And it also gives you more of that smoky look. Then I'm going to go in with that charcoal gray color from the Shade and Light palette and go right over the top. It just makes a huge difference to give it that smoked out feel. Same thing to this eye. And as you can see, I'm not taking the color all the way in. I kind of want to keep my eyes still looking light and bright because there is so much black around my eye. I want to keep it looking nice still. Alright, as you can see, it got really smoothed out now. Alright, so I'm really happy with how that particularly looks. I am going to go back in with a big fluffy brush from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette and go right under the brow just to give us a little bit more of a shape so you can tell that it was intentional to make this black. Alright. Their shaping was a little bit different than ours, so that's why that's important. And then I take that same color, that bone color, get a little bit more on my brush and do the other side. And then I'm back in with that original 221 brush and just bring that shade, blend that shade right back in. I feel like when you do the inner tear duct for this, it really gives you that vintage vibe. It also gives you that very sad look that for some reason all the 20s stars all had this very sad look. I'm going to keep blending. I always go back and recheck the look. Make sure I'm super happy before I add mascara or lashes or anything that's like a final touch sort of thing. Okay, go back in with your Shade and Light brush and clean up under the eye. I'm pretty pleased with this. I am going to do my brows as well, which I don't do very often. I'm going to take the Anastasia brush, number 12. It has a little spoolie and the angle brush on it. I'm going to comb my brows up a little bit to get us started, and then I am going to just go back into the Sugar Pill Bulletproof. I've got really dark hair naturally, so a dark brow will look best. Alright, get my mirror so I can see. Then I like to use my angle brush, and then I just add a little bit of color here. I don't have holes or anything like that in my brows. I'm very lucky and blessed. But I do like to add just a little bit of color as it adds more drama to the look. And since this look is all about the eyes, I'm going to do that right now. All right. Then I do the others. eyebrows are on. I am going to do my red lipstick off camera and my mascara off camera as well. When I come back, I will show you the completed look. Alright guys, now I have the entire costume on. I've got my headpiece, which I think makes everything just tied together. Got my big beautiful earrings. I've got my necklace. Please ignore my rash. Had a reaction to something I tried, but I could not resist and not do or start my Halloween series. So this is the final look. I will post some pictures on Instagram. My Instagram link is down below, along with my website. If you're ever looking for a makeup artist, you can always hire me. Also too, I plan on doing a couple more videos. I'm looking for ideas on what you guys want to see for Halloween or dress up looks. Again, this was the 1920s vintage look. So thank you so much for watching. Definitely subscribe. Hit that like button, and please comment down below what you want to see next, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.